Okay, we go to the next one, Dr. Rakesh Kumar. So this is a very interesting topic, I like to say, and folks on the Zoom also. I know Anwar talked a little bit about how to integrate with testbed, but there are so many testbeds out there, and there are so many people doing research in different areas. And Rakesh Kumar, he's going to talk about the details of data port, how you can take advantage of it. And Dr. Rakesh Kumar is an IEEE leader. He's also executive in guidance design semiconductor veteran. He's an IEEE tab Hall of Honor, among other things. He's also been past president of IEEE SSCS Society, as Ken Governor, TAMS, Sustainable IT, among others. He's also the chair of IEEE Roadmap. Actually, Future Network is one of that. So he's chairing the overall roadmap, was the past roadmap chair for many years. So with that, Rakesh, I know I talked a lot about your IEEE activities. You're going to focus on data port today, right? So you have 20 minutes to give us a presentation of data port, how people can take advantage of it.
Thank you. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, Ashutosh, and thanks for inviting me here. I am not a wireless or a RAN expert, so bear with me for a minute. I do want to share with you, I think, what could be a really nice opportunity for you all as you're doing research in Open RAN to collaborate, right? So what we have is a platform. It's not a research platform where you're integrating and testing all kinds of hypotheses in your experiments. However, if you have data that can be useful to other researchers, I think that's the place that this might be very useful. We are a very successful platform. I'll give you some statistics. We've been around for about 5 years. It was initiated by IEEE really in the context of taking research papers and if there was data generated along with papers to make those shareable. The motivation for this is really funding agencies, as you may have encountered, want data to be shared and research to be shared. So we've been around for a while. We've opened it up, and I'd like to give you some background. So as Ashutosh said, I'm a semiconductor guy. I'll start with a few charts that talk about how data is being generated at tremendously rapid rates. This is from the Semiconductor World of Integrated Circuits, Solid-State Circuits Conference, where there's exponential rise in the amount of data that's being generated, the amount of compute that you folks are doing. I think they all kind of follow that kind of track. You can look at presentation from Intel, Pat Genslinger, also showing how there's virtual economics and tremendous need for data storage and sharing. So another example of the kind of data requirements there are. So I will propose, let me look at two scenarios for you. One is if you're a researcher in the Open RAN space and in your platforms, in your experiments, you're generating data that you think could be useful to others. The others then don't have to necessarily reproduce their research setup. I think that's kind of the value proposition here. But if you are a researcher, what you got to do is you got to design an experiment, do a model for validation. Maybe this is one possible simple scenario, and the end result might be a publication, or in your case, maybe standardization. But what happens to the data that you generate? Now, I realize I've been around for a while that not all data is shareable, and I'll pose a scenario at the end. Just keep in mind, I think that the piece of data that is shareable could be very useful to others. And I think that's where Dataport could be very useful. And so people have to find it, right? It's not just you find a repository because you could store it in GitHub. Well, how does one find it? And they have to get a link and blah, 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 right? So anyway, we have a scenario that we offer you the ability to share that data. Now, if you look at the other end, which is an industry practitioner that's also generating a lot of data, what do you do with the data? Is it shareable? And if it's shareable, is it findable? I think those are the two key questions I would pose. So please allow me to show a quick 2-minute video, which will show you how.
IEEE Dataport is used by millions of researchers, scientists, students, and engineers around the globe who are working to accelerate scientific discovery, advance technology, and make the world a better place. The IEEE Dataport platform allows users to store, share, and access research datasets and collaborate with peers, all on one secure platform. Backed by IEEE, the world's largest technical professional organization, Dataport provides access to a wide variety of datasets, from artificial intelligence to computer science to geosciences and many more. In fact, there are thousands of datasets in more than 30 categories for research of all disciplines. Dataport enables individuals and institutions to store their research data indefinitely. Individuals can store up to 2 terabytes of data per dataset. Institutions can store up to 10 terabytes of data per dataset. Users have the ability to upload their research as an open access or standard dataset. Open access datasets are available to everyone for free. This can increase exposure to your research data, support research reproducibility, and help meet funding agency requirements. IEEE Dataport also makes it easy to create a data management plan, another way to help users meet funding agency requirements. Dataport is an excellent place for researchers to collaborate using the data competition and feedback features. There are 3 ways to use IEEE Dataport. Option 1. Create a free account. A free account gives you access to all open access datasets. Option 2. Become an individual subscriber. This subscription gives you access to all open access and standard datasets. If you're a member of an IEEE society, you already have an individual subscription. Just log in to IEEE Dataport with your IEEE credentials. Option 3. Take advantage of your organization's institutional subscription. Organizations with institutional subscriptions provides all members of their organization with free access to all IEEE Dataport features. We hope you'll join our data community made up of the world's leading researchers, scientists, and academics. Learn more at IEEE-dataport.org.
So just to recap, it is a searchable repository, and it'll link to your publication if it's associated with a publication. You can have open data sets, and it helps you meet the data management plan requirement from funding agencies. I said we were popular. We have over 10 million global users today, and the number keeps going up very rapidly. So I may be a little bit out of touch here. Over 6,500 data sets. And so I would urge you to check it out. If you go to IEEE-dataport.org, you will see this kind of a page where you can explore what data sets are available, and you can upload your data sets and submit your data set activity. Another aspect of this, by the way, is that you can create design competitions. So, the previous speaker was talking about data that you might have generated, and other researchers do not have that facility. You could take that data and you could create a design competition. I'll give you an example of in Bangalore, in India, there's a Indian Urban Data Exchange. And they are now a partner because we have taken their data set. They've uploaded the data set and designed a competition. And what it's doing is exposing researchers around the world to participate. So that's the value proposition that we bring in that case. The data gets a digital object identifier, and so it's searchable. It can be cited. So if you're a young researcher and looking for citations, you publish a paper, we get you a link to that. And so this is a second citation for the same research. Our growth rate is just exponential. 2024 has been a phenomenal year of growth. Give you some ideas of what data sets are most popular. Here's some examples you can read through there. 100,000 views per data set. Design competitions are extremely popular. 400,000 in this case is the most popular. I think those numbers are probably gone up by now. So yeah, I would consider those as options for you. What data sets are most popular, as expected, might be artificial intelligence, machine learning, and image processing. I'm sure if Open RAN data sets were there, they would be very popular too. So more examples of what the data sets are. Here's one for snow-covered urban roads data set for computer vision applications, collaboration between Saudi Arabia University and Montreal. I don't know how that happened, but you know, you can access the data set, you get the statistics. In this case, there's 44 views. Here's one with 11,000 views. There's a fire detection and modeling a spectral image data set. Here's another one for hybrid energy. Now, this one was sponsored by a company called Ørsted, and it's got 14,000 views. So very interesting stuff that could be very useful for research. Another thing that I would point out is that IEEE has this extreme competition, programming competition that's been around for what, 17 or 18 years now. All of those past data sets and the experiences that people have are now as part of the data set. So if you're a participant looking for participating next year, you can review the data that's available already. Another dimension I will add to this is that IEEE has introduced a new publication. It's called Data Descriptions Publication. So if you upload the data, you can actually write a little paper about it. It's a structured data paper that defines what parameters you gotta publish, but that paper itself can be citable. So in a scenario where you have research that you publish a paper, that's one citation. You upload the data, that's a second citation. And if you get a publication in data descriptions, that could be a third one on the same research. So that could be attractive to at least young researchers. Let me give you an example, though. I don't know how many of you go to the Power and Energy Society general meeting. They had one last year, and I heard a lot of data needs, that they're generating a lot of data. But basically, what they were telling me, go away, our data is not shareable. It's a regulated industry, we can't share data. So that was a year ago. And just last month, I was at the meeting for 2024, and you would not believe how much response we have got on this. We presented to all of their working groups. There are many working groups that are very interested. They have data. So this first one is an example where the Department of Energy sponsored a project to study the low voltage leakage from power sources. And they have tons of data that are handing out on little mini disks. Well, they can make that available on Dataport, and that's what they're looking at. The AI working group there is looking at using Dataport, and in the meantime, to circumvent this whole problem of not shareable regulated data, people use synthetic data, and that's being uploaded into Dataport as well. So this is a real use case that we're happy to share with you. Like I mentioned, not all the data is going to be shareable. So my suggestion is share like we do in our roadmaps. Is what you do is you make the basic technology information shareable and protect that pieces of data that are going to give you competitive advantage. So if you're a company, you're generating data that you want to attract other researchers, share that basic technology information and then protect the other part. And you can certainly do that on a data port. We are working with, as Anwar said and Ashutosh said, with Dataport, with the innovation testbed on 5G, and we're looking forward to uploading those data sets that could then be used by other researchers to enhance the Open RAN progress. Good news is Dataport is ready to use. They're very popular. And if you have any further questions, you can reach out to me or Melissa Honda, who is the program director. So thanks very much, Ashutosh, for the time. I think I helped you catch up a little bit here.
Thank you. Let's give a big hands to Rakesh. So any question from the audience about data ports, use of data port? I know there are, in fact, one of the NSF panel, Taga was a panelist, and they talked about some of the research organizations, they have a requirement for the researchers to make the data available, right? I know there are many companies as well. They might like to make use of this, maybe put some of the data which are, with kind of sanitized data a little bit, right? Redacted data, they can put it. And vice versa, the companies can benefit, and researchers, users, consumers. I think, Rakesh, this is a very interesting example of what you just said. And I know 5G 6G innovation testbed wearing a co-chair hat. I know I'm working with Anwar and Brad to see how we can integrate that with API. I know you're planning to have API support as well, right? So
Yes, yeah. And I would also point out that, we are flexible enough to, if you want to create I call them solution zones for 5G, 6G Open RAN, we can certainly do that. So it makes it even easier to search within Dataport for your researchers to find that data.
All right. Folks on the Breeze or Zoom, if you have any questions, please put that in the chat box. I know, Rakesh, we are planning to have another kind of a Dataport webinar, part of Future Network. That's probably going to be scheduled very soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Rakesh, for giving an excellent talk. That will be useful to the community. Right.
Thanks for having me here. Appreciate it.